All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the semifinal of the Buster Kelso USA Classic here from Millington, Tennessee, inside of USA Stadium. Jake Long here with Shaker Turner, just about set to get going here as your Chiefs will be taking on the Patriots of Bob Jones out of Madison, Alabama. Bob Jones is the defending 7A champs from Alabama. And they are 2-0, and they are the number one seed moving into the bracket side of this tournament. Because of a late withdrawal from the tournament, they had to play Houston, Tennessee twice. Very good program. They were with us down in Florida last week. They beat them 1-0 and 7-2. Shaker, you said the young man on the mound for the Patriots is a Wallace Dothan commit.
Yep, Jack Shaw going to Wallace Dothan. A couple other guys in their lineup to look out for. Leadoff hitter Miles Hammonds. If any of y'all remember, Jeffrey Hammonds plays big league ball. I want to say he played 12, 14 years. He played for a while. His son's here. The top uncommitted player in the state of Alabama is Dylan Atkins, their center fielder. And shortstop Tanner Hermish is going to Shelton State. And I would never wish anybody any harm or ill will, but
hey, guys, real quick, I'm sorry. Okay.
We did, but I plugged it back in. And Shaker and I just got reprimanded for adding the camera angle that you all are seeing from down below.
It don't take much for me to mess something up. I'll tell you that.
We're both a little guilty here, but nonetheless.
But going back, their starting catcher is out. He's an Alabama commit, but he's out tonight with an injury. And, again, you always want to see people's best and all, but it could be advantage good guys here.
So on the year, according to Max Preps, Bob Jones is 18-6. They have defeated Hillcrest. They've defeated Thompson. Huntsville, and of course 2 wins here as well. Some of the games of note, we'll go through their schedule a little bit more as we get going. Trey Miller getting set to lead us off, shows bunt, and he fouls it off, and it's quickly 0-1.
Jay, we were joking around, but I do apologize if you hear any heavy breathing in this microphone. There's a lot of stairs to get up to this booth.
We are all the way up top here in the main stadium. Of course, we talked about yesterday, this complex used to be home to the Olympic team, and various strike 2 called there. Various national teams have been here to play. We even saw Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. His son plays for this version of IMG that's in this tournament, and that is who this winner will face tomorrow afternoon. Trey Miller hits a 2-hopper to second base, fires over in time, and it's 1 up, 1 down for Magnolia Heights in the top of the first.
Did I hear correctly? Coach Carlini from Northwest said his son had 10 RBIs today?
Has 10 RBIs today. We saw him hit a 2-run homer, or no, maybe a 3-run homer in this game right before us. So that's what's facing you tomorrow afternoon should you win this one. Cole Prosick stands in. He's the starting pitcher tonight. He shows bunt because the shift's on. And the pitcher is unable to field it cleanly, and it's an infield single for Prosick. So 1 on and 1 out for the Chiefs here in the top of the first.
What do you think about that with the shift at the high school level, Jake?
When it all depends on how much you know about the hitter. Cole handles the bat really well. I would never do it against Cole, but I've seen Cole hit 60 times this year and 110 times last year, so I know a little bit more. But hey, if you feel good enough about the guy on the mound putting it where you want to, I'd probably play the percentages if it were me. So here's Ethan Barnes, a leading hitter on this team, swings through a breaking ball there at 73 miles an hour, strike 1. Had a courtesy runner come on to run for Prosick. I believe that's Griff Hill, but we are a long way up and couldn't get a number. Whoever it is does not have much of a lead at first base, but there is a throw over to check and see if he might be moving. but I do. I think that's Griff Hill, the freshman outfielder, handling the courtesy running duties for the pitcher tonight, Cole Prosek. Here's the 0-1 to Barnes. Swings through another one, strike 2.
So again, only 3 hitters, and one had 1 pitch. Not a big sample size here, but looks like he's going to live off speed here for a little while. Breaking balls, change ups.
Griff does have a couple of stolen bases to his credit this year in varsity action. A couple of games where he has come in late, and also when he has handled the courtesy running duties. Barnes down 0-2. Looks to stay alive here. Fastball at 85, called outside. Ball 1. See if Coach McMahon elects to gamble here and send Hill. Preston Sowell in the on-deck circle. Here's the 1-2. Fouled off, and we'll do it again.
Going back here to pitching, we joke around a lot. When I was in high school many moons ago, pitching's way better now. It's more specialized. Kids throw harder, more pitches probably. But if you threw it 85, 86 when I was in school, you threw that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, now 85, 86, when you're 2 good teams like this, is pretty much that's pretty much every day.
Yep.
You think about again, we don't know much about Bob Jones's depth, but one would assume they've got several good arms for their record and the competition they've played. But, I mean, we've got 6 guys in that 85-plus range on this squad for the Chiefs. So, yeah, it's absolutely bigger, faster, stronger. You and I talked about it. I guess it was against Cottondale down in Florida. It's a real thing here in 2025. So Barnes has fouled 2 off. And we'll do the 1-2 for, I believe, the 3rd time. Played him straight up in the outfield. Bouncer to short. They'll have a chance to turn it. Shortstop will take it himself, 6, and he pulls him off the bag. So fielder's choice for the second out of the inning.
It looked he got, you don't want to panic there, but look, he almost got a little, I won't say lackadaisical, but trying to stay calm, and I think that may have cost him.
So Preston Sowell coming to the plate now. Sowell had a rough day yesterday, but a lot of Chiefs did. It just, quite frankly, not a very good day to hit. On the year, Sowell's hitting .282. He leads this team in home runs with 2. And he has 2 doubles to his credit. Senior committed Northwest Mississippi Community College. Breaking ball, bouncer. Will it stay fair? It will. Third baseman is going to attempt to make a play, but cannot field it cleanly. And there's another infield single for the Chiefs here in the top of the 1st. It was going to be a tough play. I agree. Go ahead and get in it and try to make the out because Preston's not the quickest runner.
No, I definitely think that's the play. Just bad luck there.
So Quincy Pratt will come up with 2 aboard. Pratt on the year, .293, 12 RBIs. That's 2nd on the team behind Barnes. He swings it from the right side. Bouncer to first. It takes 1 hop. The first baseman fields it cleanly, and there's a 3 unassisted to end the top of the 1st. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and there were 2 left. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 1st inning. All right, bottom of the first inning we go. Cole Prosek towing the rubber this evening for the Chiefs. Get you quickly the Magnolia Heights defense from left to right in the outfield. Same as it's been for 15 of the 16 games. Shaw Coley, Braden Burford, Jack Price. On the infield, third to first, Quincy Pratt, Trey Miller, Carter Drumheller, and Preston Sowell. And handling the catching duties tonight is Ethan Barnes. First pitch from Cole Prosek, 87 on the gun, ball one.
Was South Walton his last outing?
South Walton was his last outing last Friday night. That one's up 2-0.
So again, leading off for the Patriots, Miles Hammond, second baseman.
Fouled it off there. So the count will go 2-1. Yeah, he came on in relief against South Walton after the quick outing on the start on the day before. Ended up being the pitcher of record in both Game 1 and Game 2 down at South Walton. Fouls it straight back, 2-2. On the year, Cole is, I had it pulled up, screen went dark. Give me just a second. Cole on the year is 2-1. This is his fourth start and the seventh game overall that he has appeared in, and he hits him. Nope, called it foul. Or was it fair? So what do we got?
I think he went dead ball.
Okay, so we went with dead ball.
I was going to say, for a minute I thought he accidentally called it foul.
Yeah. No. On the year, Cole's ERA is a .109. He has logged 19 and a third inning. He has struck out 20 and walked 5. That is the third hit batter of the year for Prosek. So a leadoff man aboard for the Patriots. That fastball is up for a ball.
It's the Patriot first baseman, Cole Spanier.
That one called a strike at 85. Quick throw over, and he's back. On the year, teams are hitting .224 off of Prosek. 1-2 the count.
Miles at first base. Looks like he's trying to time him up. Looking to take a bag here.
He has a whip of a .828, well below what most pitching coaches would tell you they would like, which is usually around a 1-1. So walk.
What's Cole's?
.828. That's walk, hits, and innings pitched. And that's not me being a baseball nerd and a numbers guy. That whip's been around for a long time. Here's the 1-2. Fouls it straight back once again. 88 on that fastball. A little up out of the zone, but fouled straight back.
Is there a rule in high school about disengagements on each pitch? Before that pitch, the base umpire looked like he held up a 1 to Cole after the pitch.
And he got him at first. Yep. And he picked him off. I'm not sure on that. There was, I believe, a discussion about that and pitch clock stuff in the NFHS this year, but not 100% sure what passed. Don't tell the people that run one of my side jobs that I don't know. Strike 3 called, breaking ball inside corner. So now, quickly, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
That's going to bring up Cam Martin, Patriots right fielder.
Martin will swing it from the right side. The Chiefs will elect to play him straight up everywhere. Checks his swing. They'll say he went. Strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball hit sharply to right field, slicing foul out of play. 0-2. Looks like they'll come in. They will. It's down 89 on the gun there. See, I cheated and put this camera right behind the plate so I could tell if it's up and down because you got no way of telling from up here. See? Look at me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
journeyman. That's a veteran pro right there.
Something like that. 2-2, the count. As that fastball gets away from Barnes.
Cam Martin looks like a strong kid. If you miss right here, he can do some damage.
And he hits it well to right. Retreating is Price near the foul line. And he puts his glove on it, and that will do it for the Bob Jones half of the first. So no score after one complete. Magnolia Heights and Bob Jones. All right, welcome back. Top of the second, Braden Burford getting set to lead this one off. Burford, the senior center fielder. We'll look to get the second inning started off the right way. Appreciate those of you that might be joining us that are Patriot fans. Had a message on Twitter asking us if there would be a video stream, so appreciate those of you watching from Madison, Alabama. And all points in between. Ball one there. Pitch was a little up. This is sharply hit back up to the middle. The second baseman will have a chance because it bounced off the mound. Burford's speedy. He will get there safely, and the ball did not go in the dugout, so it'll be a leadoff single for Braden Burford. The mound slowed that down, or it would have gotten to the outfield easily. And the second baseman made a really nice play. But Burford is not somebody that runs like me, so he's safe.
No, he's not quite as fast as you.
So here's Leland Weldon. Weldon, sophomore first baseman, has started swinging a really good bat as of late. Doesn't have the hits to show for it, though, but he has started barreling a bunch of balls up. Hopefully that can continue here with one man aboard. Back-to-back breakers, 0-2. I'll correct the scoreboard there. 0-2 is the correct count.
Yeah, for somebody that throws it with a little velocity, he throws his breaking ball a lot.
Pickoff check of Burford. He's back safely.
Which also, makes that 85, 86 a little more 89-ish.
And definitely could be an approach first time through the order how they're choosing to pitch to the Chiefs. 0-2. Swing and a miss on a sharp breaking ball. So Weldon down on strikes.
I'm not real sure that pitch was ever a strike.
No, he chased one out of the zone, but so that'll bring up Shaw Coley. Shaw Coley hitting 250 through 16. Through 15 games. This is the 16th. Takes a strike there. Coley been stuck at 6 RBIs for quite a while. He asked me why I made him carry the tripod in on the way in, Shaker. I said, people that help me get hits.
There's hits in that tripod, brother.
So
it's karmatic. Clean living, get you a few hits.
here's the 0-1. They'll check Burford again, and I think he'd be out. The ball didn't get away from the first baseman, and Burford is doubled over at first. I'm not sure.
I think he might have caught a rib.
I think the ball caught a rib. I don't think the first baseman was able to get some leather on it. So I think it hit Burford pretty square. Counts 0-1 to Coley. In there for a strike, 77 on that breaking ball, 0-2.
Has he shown two different ones? One sharper and one a little more sweeper, or am I?
No,
dreaming that?
you're right. The one he just struck Weldon out on was umpire flinches, and Coley will live to see another pitch. Count now 1-2. Burford not a very big lead at first, as you can see there in the bottom of your screen, but they're going to go ahead and throw over anyways. Here's the 1-2. Burford going here on the leg kick. Bouncer to the second baseman. Coley will be retired 4-3. And that's the second out here in the second. That'll bring up Jack Price. Price on the year 206. Really good day yesterday. You talked about in that second inning, he was the guy that second ball game, kept seeming to find barrels on what was a tough hitting day. This one's hit deep into right center field, but it looks like it will be caught for the third out. So Price, first pitch swinging, and that will do it for the Chiefs in the second. They did leave one on, but we'll move to the home half. No score between Magnolia Heights and Bob Jones.
Definitely not a myth.
Bottom of the second. 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, due up for Bob Jones.
4, 5, 6, yeah. So Dylan Atkins, the center fielder, if I understood correctly, is the top uncommitted player in Alabama. In the left side of this box, he definitely looks the part. Little leg kick and big swing there.
87 on that fastball. Scoreboard showing 0-2, but the count is 1-1. Guy just missed that first pitch. I'm talking about the umpire, not the scoreboard. 2-1 now.
Also, say hello to our football coach, Russ Whiteside, keeping us in check here.
Yeah, with Perry Poe in the park tonight, it's good to know somebody at home's watching. Poe usually lets us know he's got it on. Of course, this is probably third TV material tonight with SEC baseball and the basketball tournament on. If you got 3 TVs, I personally do have 3 TV Shaker. I could set up 3 and have a really good.
The Turner household used to host big cookouts on Saturdays, multiple games going, and I definitely did it white trash style. We had cables running everywhere, but you got to watch the game though.
So after a quick conversation, we're back ready to go with a 2-2 count. This one's hit sharply to first, and they'll say it's foul just by a couple of feet. And that one would have been extra bases. Of course, can't say much about 3 screens. I do have 3 up right now. Haven't checked on the Rebels yet, but Mississippi State's on top of Oklahoma 1-0. This one's hit to left, slicing away from Coley. Don't believe it'll stay in the park. It does not. The count will remain 2-2. Yeah, after Clemson got upset yesterday, I kind of just had no reason to watch tournament anymore. Kind of got a little aggressive and belief in their talent. This one might get down. It's foul. Ole Miss did get the win this afternoon. You asked me, I think it got to 2 maybe while I was driving up here listening.
Oh wow!
I think North Carolina cut it down to 2. Ole Miss ended up winning by 6, 7 maybe. So the count's full. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So 1 up, 1 down.
We need to talk to a couple of our or all of our dads. There's been 2 games on the field today, and both have involved a former significant time in the big leagues son. We don't have any on our team.
We don't. We don't. Chris and I were actually talking about that today. Not dads being draft picks, but how many draft picks over the last few years. But the MLB draft did get brought up, and I'm not sure who's on one of the backfields, but there was about 8 scouts that walked by me around 6:40.
Well, if you're looking for high school baseball talent, this is definitely a good place to find it.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate the last 2 weeks to be in 2 of the better tournaments in the Southeast. And
speaking of that, here in just a moment, in a little bit, we'll have Johnny Ray, the guy that puts this all together, on here with us.
The guy. Make sure you say it correctly.
Swing.
He went. Yes, he did. And that's the second out of the inning. Yeah, don't just casually say the guy. It's the guy.
But everybody already knows.
You're right.
I don't have to tell them. They already know.
So with 2 out and no one aboard?
Another example of my lack of ability in this field, Robert Chapman has committed somewhere also, and I don't remember where they told me. But he is moving on and playing college, which I'm sure most of these kids are.
Strike 1 there. You know, you got on me earlier about these devices that we can type into. Let's see if we can pull up and find out where the young man will be playing collegiately. He hits it sharply to second. Drumheller fields it on the second hop and fires over to Sowell. So 4-3 on the putout. And that will do it for the Bob Jones Patriots in the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none were left. 2 complete, no score between Bob Jones and Magnolia Heights. Top of the third and top of the Chief lineup due up here. Trey Miller, Cole Prosick, and Ethan Barnes. 1, 2, and 3 here in a scoreless ball game after 2 complete. Miller 0 for 1 this evening. 340 on the year coming into this one. Takes a pitch up, ball 1. Talked about it this morning. Trey struggled yesterday, but one thing he's done is in clutch moments he's been really good. I think to the 2 RBI triple against Highland Park out at the 5-tool event in Dallas. And then, of course, yesterday he cleared the bases with a triple as well. That one's inside. Called a strike.
It's a tough one to hit right there.
Almost hit him. Here's the 2-1. And he goes away with a changeup, it looked like. 2-2. Fouls it off, able to stay alive. You were talking about the overall pitching approach. It'd be interesting to see if they go more to the fastball here the second time through. Here's the 2-2. It is a fastball.
A little shift on, a little modified shift. Third baseman stays towards the line, but the shortstop's up the middle. So I would say he probably pulls it more, but, big home run in South Walton was – I don't think you could get it more – I don't think it could get closer to the line.
Yeah. Tried to come back door with a breaking ball there. It misses. The count is run full. Stays with something soft, and it's a leadoff base runner for the Chiefs, as that is ball 4. So did you ever ask Melendez what he said? Because I got a little info.
I did, and you probably know more about it. We were around some folks when I asked him, and it was basically just hey, slow it down, and
it was basically, hey, it's not the same fastball that it was 2 innings ago.
Right.
Just trust your hands, and so it wasn't this. He didn't reinvent the wheel. He just told him something very simple, and that at times is just what hitting is keeping it simple.
The funny part is the one offensive conference in inning, and he tried to talk to Cole real quick, and on the next at bat, and the other South Walton coach started yelling, "Hey, he's out! That's 2 conference. He's out! He's out!" And Melendez, oh man, I don't think that's the rule, but if I get cold toss right here, Coach McMahon may fire me on the spot. I might not even get to go back home.
That pitch gets away from the catcher, and Trey Miller will advance 90 feet. So a runner in scoring position for the first time this evening for the Chiefs. Inside corner, strike 1. Long pause. Here comes the 2-1. Fastball. Ooh, looked a little up. And our fans.
Chiefs faithful agree with you?
Prosick in a 2-2 count. Breaking ball, bouncer, foul down the right field line. Good, bad, or ugly. Our fan base doesn't give an umpire much leniency.
No, they're not real shy. So times like this right here, this is, as the year goes and postseason and conferences start to pick up, these are the innings that we're going to have to capitalize on. Trey, leadoff hitter, gets on, he can run, and then you go, Prosick, Barnes, Sal, Pratt. That's got to be at least multiple runs most of the time, but we have to be able to capitalize that and figure out how that's going to get done.
Yeah, in every game that we've lost this year, those opportunities, except for IMG this past Saturday, those opportunities have presented themselves.
Yep.
IMG, I think I looked up, we were 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position, which is almost unheard of, but that's also how few runners we got in scoring position. And that's back-to-back walks here. But yesterday, the inability to just get a ball in play came back to bite us.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had the Munford game 7 strikeouts and 5 came in the top 3 hitters. And look, we all know them, and it's a bad day, and like you said, a tough day to hit. I don't have any doubt that's a a one-off day, but another chance right here. Great time to break out of it.
No doubt. And fortunately, you're doing it with Ethan Barnes, as we mentioned, the leading hitter on this Chiefs team. He's also the leading RBI man with 13. That's 5 doubles to his credit as well and 1 long ball. Fouls it straight back, and we're even at 1-1. With 3, 4, 5 coming up, Chiefs elect not to bunt here. Barnes does handle the bat well. Could potentially come on now with 1 strike.
What inning do you think we would be in to bunt in this situation? I mean, I know, if you're bottom of the 7th,
Probably if this was 2 frames later, probably about the 5th, I think Chris would probably think about it. That seems to be, over the year and a half, watching him, usually where he starts to try to manufacture.
Coach Dez whispered something to the runner at first. Who knows what's going to happen now. Coach Dez giving
a wild pitch and allow everybody to advance 90 feet.
That's all it takes. If Jacob Melendez talks to you at all, you're about to succeed.
Yeah, that's
something's about to happen.
That is what we've learned today. That's actually Cole running for himself at second with nobody out. Coach McMahon electing not to use a courtesy runner, letting a fairly good athlete stay on the field.
Not bad.
Here's the 2-1. Hit well to center. Coming on is the center fielder, and it gets down. It got by him, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. It will plate 1 for sure. Here comes Prosick around third. The throw is going to third, and there is Barnes sliding in safely, and that's the first 2 runs of this baseball game for Magnolia Heights, and they will take a 2-0 lead here. Still nobody out. Not 100% sure. It looked like he just tried to basket catch it and missed it. So.
Okay. I was going to ask. I couldn't tell from here if it bounced in front of him or not.
Yeah, I really couldn't either. But nonetheless, it got by and got all the way to the wall, and Barnes got all the way to third. Now it'll bring out a pitching visit. Or mound visit, sorry. Coach McMahon taking the opportunity to talk to Sowell and Hayden Jones, who has come on to run for Barnes, the catcher. You mentioned in his last at bat, Sowell is third on the team in RBIs.
Swinging bunt, infield hit in his first at bat. Just trying to drive one in right here.
Pitch misses up, ball 1. Foul straight back. He just missed that one. 1-1. Fastball inside corner 83, strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sowell doesn't cut the swing down and goes down swinging.
And it's one of those. I think we try to do big things sometimes, and runner at second with nobody out has to score every time.
Yep.
Runner at third, less than two, has to score every time. And once that clicks, this lineup get even more dangerous.
That one's up, ball one. Quincy Pratt, the hitter and out. This is outside. 2-0. The command has been a little bit different this inning. 2 walks already. That's hit sharply the third, and Jones is going to get doubled off, and that is just what the doctor ordered to end the threat. The Chiefs do plate 2, and will take a 2-0 lead to the bottom of the third.
And welcome back. Bottom of the third, your Chiefs lead the Patriots 2-0. And joining me here on the call is the Johnny Ray. Known him a long time, friend of mine. But more importantly than that, the head guru right here at Millington Stadium, USA Stadium. Keeps it running, keeps the wheels greased, and y'all put on a good tournament here, man.
Well, we're really fortunate this year that we've got some really, really good teams, and it's always good when you get state champions coming from previous years from out of state, and then you combine with Arrowhead Christian out of California, IMG out of Bradenton, Florida. I mean, we've got a pretty good lineup this year. Really, really fortunate.
And so I know it's changed to the Buster Kelso Classic now. From its previous name, but the same tournament's been running, and again, I'm pretty old, but not as old as you, but I'm a little older, and I remember being out here and playing, and then coaching career out here with Lewisburg, and now Magnolia Heights is here, and every time that I've been, it's always high quality teams from all over the country, and again, it's smooth run, it's a great tournament.
Well, I think we're really the history of this place is one of the attractions that we have when you start talking about Team USA being here for 10 years and all the ex-big leaguers that or future big leaguers that played here that once graced this field, and it's just always been a great tournament. Coach Kelso started this thing, I believe, in 1992, and we've seen guys like R.A. Dickey and several local guys, Logan Forsyth, Matt Cain, Stuart Pomeranz, Zach Cozart, Ben Johnson, all these guys that made big leagues played here in this tournament. So it's I've got a pretty good history of it on a spreadsheet that I go back and try to refresh and keep up. But always very competitive event here.
No doubt. And Cole gets a strikeout in the first at bat, and then at E4 to get a runner at first base is now he's throwing to Mick Tyrell, the catcher for the Patriots. But speaking of former players that have been here, we saw one pretty cool one today, huh? Frank Thomas.
Well, I had an opportunity to get a picture with him, and I'd met Frank here in Memphis about 10 or 12 years ago, and he remembers that the guy hit 521 home runs in the major leagues. But he was here for the 1998 Team USA tryouts, and he remembered a home run that he hit, described it pretty vividly. And I'm like, that must have been pretty memorable for you to remember something that you hit in Millington, Tennessee 40 years ago. And but, yeah, I got a chance to bring that up to him today. And the little-known tidbit is Frank Thomas did not make the team. He was cut in 1988. Future Hall of Famer, five-time MVP and or five-time All-Star and two-time AL MVP, and he can't even make the Team USA squad out here.
Hey, it's a tough go out here.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'll give you another little story real quick as a former catcher. A.J. Hinch was on the USA team, and when I was young –
Four-year guy.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. He was the first catcher. He's where I got the idea, and this was a long time ago. Like I said, wasn't as common, but play at the plate, act like the ball's not coming, and then runner slows down and tag him at the last second. Anyway, that's one thing I remember. That's where I got that play from, was A.J. Hinch out here on this field. And this was also one of the few things that my dad, not a big sports guy, but he would bring us out here because he knew we liked it and the family would come. But yeah, a lot of stories, a lot of great baseball out here. And then again, I bring it up again. Now you get to kind of run the show and keep it going.
I've been here 15 years. Fortunate to have played out here as an amateur. Never been to Millington. Never heard of Millington. And for all the Chief fans, I went to Marshall Academy. So after my freshman year playing at Northwest, I was still young enough to play Legion baseball and came out here and played for Millington Telephone. And that was the first year that the Olympic team trained here. And it was pretty cool seeing guys like Ben McDonald and Robin Ventura and just a plethora of guys that had played here. And then I go on to fortunate enough to sign a pro contract from a workout here at the stadium and coached collegiately and been a spectator here. I think the only thing I haven't done here has been an umpire, and that's one thing I promise you I will never do.
You probably have from the dugout once or twice. I forgot the question I was fixing to ask you. It was good, though. I do know that.
Well, did you want to ask me about us winning the district championship over Magnolia Heights in 1985?
Well, that is what – it was close to that. I was going to say going to being at Marshall Academy, I may be fired now that I let you on this call. I'm not sure. No, that's and that just goes back to the history and the connections of this game. And it's so many kids play baseball, but it's still such a small world. And just the stories and the connections. And
well, you mentioned Perry Poe just a minute ago.
Yeah.
I saw Perry, and I hadn't seen him in years, but he looks the same. And
pull that closer.
My bad.
You good? I just got a text.
Okay.
Told you, Coach Whiteside keeps us in check.
Well, that's another blast from the past right there.
But yeah, talking about Mr. Poe there. He as Braden Burford comes up, he singled infield hit in his first at bat. So we're going to go Burford, Weldon, Shaw, Coley this inning. Top four. Chiefs lead 2-0. And again, Johnny Ray on the call here with me for the moment. And again, let's go back to just the field. It's nice if you haven't been out here to see this park. And talk about the park a little bit and all the additions that y'all have had.
Well, for people that know the history around Millington USA Stadium, original was two fields, two natural surface fields. And 5 years ago, we had a new ownership group showed up to town, purchased the 130 acres from the city, and converted it. Now we have 9 fields, 6 full turf infield outfield, and 3 turf infield grass outfields. We run a solid 10 months out of the year. Home for Southwest Tennessee Community College baseball. Run college events spring and fall. We run high school events in the spring, and of course travel ball spring, summer, and fall. And also sprinkle in a few softball events here and there.
How many weeks you think ball's played out here?
My guess is probably around 38 weekends we'll have something.
Leland Weldon sends a sky-high ball to the left field line, and left fielder Robert Chapman, who's a Bevel State commit. Another thing, Johnny Ray coming through for us there when I told you I'd messed that up a while ago. But Leland Weldon with the fly out to the left. Braden Burford led off this inning. Crisp ground ball to short with a 6-3 put out. And that's going to bring up Shaw Coley, the left fielder. 2 outs and nobody on. And again, on the call here with Johnny Ray. Also coming up here just a bit, you're going to hear from the local JUCO pitching coach in our area, Dominic Carlini at Northwest Mississippi Community College. And we're going to go 2-0 count to Coley. So you get one message to send out to the world. What is it, Johnny? Put you on the spot here for the USA Stadium Buster Kelso Classic.
Wow. This has grown every year, and we're going to continue to grow it, and we want to have the best teams from across the country, and we want to rival any other event that is put on. And, with having games like tonight, Bob Jones, Magnolia Heights, that's high-level baseball. And we want people to understand that, we're going to put the best out there and let them compete against each other.
Well, if anybody cares about my opinion, I think y'all do a great job of it. Again, Chiefs Club here, close pitch right there for ball 4 to Coley's going to bring up Jack Price, runner on first with 2 outs. But being blessed to go to that South Walton tournament we went to last week, super tournament, I thought it was one of the most talented, loaded things I'd seen in high school. And this one's right here. It's right with it. Matter of fact, some of the same teams, a lot of the same teams. He's talking about IMG and just a long-running program here, a long-running tradition. And you've done a great job to keep it going as we lift one out to right field. And Coley's going to try to go first to third. Looks like he's going to get there. Big hit by 2-out hit by Jack Price to move Coley to third for the top of the order. Try to score one more run here this inning. But again, Johnny Ray, and I appreciate your time. And if there's anything we can do, we love coming out here. I know not to speak for Coach McMahon or anything, but we appreciate you having us.
Well, I've had a great relationship with Chris over the years, and used to work the 5-star camp with Chris and for Coach Carson down at Northwest, and then I coached a couple years at Marshall Academy and faced off against Chris, and he's built a powerhouse, and that goes without saying. Year in, year out, they're right back in the hunt every year. And you get to that point by playing the best competition throughout the year, so you're battle tested when you get to the end of the season.
Well, nobody can question the strength of schedule of the Chiefs. I'll definitely tip my hat to him for that. And again, I appreciate it. And again, anything we can do, you're more than welcome on this show. Matter of fact, you can have my spot anytime you want. And as Trey Miller, top of the order, comes back up, you talked about your playing career a little bit, and got to play a little pro ball. But before all that happened, all the stories I hear before the pro ball were back in the day, or even maybe after it when you were playing in the men's league. There's a few stories there too. But definitely a baseball name. Anybody in this area bigger than that, definitely know Johnny Ray.
Well, I love my time in San Antonio playing at Northwest for Coach Miles, Coach Castle, and it gave me the platform to do what I've done today. Just been around the game my whole life as a fan and as a coach and a player and spectator, the whole 9 yards. So I'm just a baseball nut and fortunate that it's what I do for a living. So it's pretty cool.
I meant to ask you this. Just this week alone, has anybody stood out to you, or somebody that you didn't already know, and now like, there's some talent that you found or seen?
Well, I know Jake talked about a long line of scouts that walked in. Last night we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 pro scouts here to watch Ryan Mitchell from Houston High School, and he's going to be tracked around wherever he goes all spring, and he's going to have to have a decision to make here at the end of the year. It looks like.
So right here we got a runner caught up. Kind of failed for the first and third. We got it caught up, trying to stay in the rundown long enough to score this run, and it looks like the Patriots just going to concede, getting back to first. Coach McMahon, I'm not sure. I don't think he's too happy about that. I'm not sure what happened. So I did see all the scouts. I assumed they weren't player scouts. I thought it was the media program from each of the big clubs looking for me. That's what I thought it was, but I guess it was. I guess they were here to see Houston.
Well, but there are others. I mean, you're talking about Doty from Lausanne is another great prospect. We've seen some really good arms. Even I'm not sure the kid's name from Arrowhead Christian, but he was a very talented guy. But probably not anybody in here to see him because they're not in his area. But he's a Cal State Fullerton commit and signee, and so you'll understand that he's probably going to be drafted pretty high. IMG's running guys that's committed and signed with Miami and Tennessee, and just a great event. I mean, I can't say that enough of the talent that's here, and I know I'm forgetting some, but you look at this Magnolia Heights dugout. There's great ball players all up and down the lineup, and those guys are moving on to colleges as well.
Speaking of Frank Thomas, his son with IMG, what year is he?
He is a 2027. He's a sophomore.
Oh, wow. He's a big sophomore. I know it's hard to believe after you saw his dad.
DNA's a real thing.
Oh, my son's in trouble. He's got no shot. No. Sophomore, wow. So I guess he can't be committed yet then. That was my next question if he has. Again, Trey Miller battles out a walk to load the bases. Going to bring up Cole Prosek. That was Trey's second walk of the night. Cole has bunt hit into a shift and walked. And now would be a good time to hit a double, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're looking for one in the gap and turn the burner zone.
A lot of left turns. That's what we're looking for. As Coach comes out to talk to Jack Shaw. Again, Wallace Dothan commit. What's he telling him? You're a former pitcher. What's he telling him right now?
Well, you got to control the game, number one. I always like to walk out and as a pitching coach, I always wanted to walk out and, reassure my guy that he was good. If he was in a bind, you gotta pump him up and let him know that he's the man and ball's in his hand and he's got to make pitches. So, I always tried to stay away from the mechanical part of it because I didn't want them overthinking. I wanted them to go out and believe in their stuff and just compete.
Well, he's shown he definitely has quality stuff. And again, like you just said, just sometimes you have to remind them of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to bring up Cole Prosek, your pitcher for the Chiefs tonight. 2-hole hitter in the lineup. If he can figure out a way here, bring up Ethan Barnes on deck, Preston Sowell after that, and then Quincy Pratt. He's been around Quincy very much?
Not really. No, I'm definitely familiar with the family.
Right.
And I've heard great things. I don't know kids like I used to.
I understand.
When I had a son playing, I knew everybody 2 or 3 classes, ahead and behind. But looks like he just missed that one.
Just missed it. Sends a deep fly to center field to end the inning, but that's going to do it for the Chiefs in the top of the 4th. Load the bases, but failed to get one in and still lead 2-0. And again, this was Johnny Ray on the call. What's your title?
Head cook and bottle washer. I've done it all here. It's been a labor of love that I've been a part of out here. But head tournament director is my official title,
okay.
Back when this was natural services, you'd catch me on a mower, or you'd catch me grilling hamburgers, or doing PA, or maybe one time I had to sing the national anthem or something. I can't really remember.
I have no doubt that was great when you did that, if that happened.
Great and terrible.
Greatly terrible. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we're going to take a quick break right here, maybe for an ad or two, and we'll be back. And Jake Long is going to be here with Coach Coach Carlini, the legend. Thank y'all.
All right, bottom of the fourth inning, Chiefs on top, 2-0. As Shaker mentioned, I'm back here with Dominic Carlini. Dominic, the pitching coach at Northwest Mississippi Community College in year number 5?
No.
5? 6?
How about 8?
8?
8.
Well, all right, I've been gone for a little bit, so
That's true.
you lose count when you're not there. Pop up to Trey Miller. So, Dominic, tell us a little bit about how the Rangers have started 2025. So you had a conference sweep the other day over Mississippi Delta. Got another conference doubleheader tomorrow. How's the year started for this version of Northwest Mississippi Community College?
I would say pretty good start so far. We've obviously every team's going to have some ups and downs, but I think we bounced back pretty well from the downs, and we started off really, really well.
This one's popped up over to the right side. Drumheller on the foul line. Will catch it in foul territory, and there's 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth. Yeah, when we've talked about junior college baseball on the broadcast that I've been on, and all the things that go along with it, because of the doubleheader, the highs can be really high and the lows can be really low. Playing those 2 conference games in one day, so you just got to be able to stay in the moment, and stay where you are. But You've got a couple of guys off this version of Magnolia Heights coming your way next year. You've got a couple of Chiefs on your team right now. Haven't looked in the last week. Has Will thrown any for you? Did he throw against Delta the other day?
He did not. He threw. We've kind of used him a lot, and that was a good time for us to give him a break.
Right.
But man, Will Howell has been really good for us to have that lefty out of the pen or start. I think he started the game earlier and just gives you a lot of consistency. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah, Will threw a lot of big innings for the Chiefs last year. Of course, he started in left field when he was not on the bump. It counts 2-2 here with 2 outs. Yeah, so you got Sal and J.G. Lane coming to you next year off this team. Of course, this is the time of year that you're starting to look at 2026s, but you mentioned earlier, here's a sharply hit ball to short. Trey Miller fields it on its second hop, and it's 3 up, 3 down for Prosick in the fourth. We'll stay here with Coach Carlini for a few more minutes, but you talked about a couple of pieces you'd like for that 25 class if you could find them, but you're really starting to look at 26s now. For people that may not be familiar with college recruiting, when does the calendar kind of flip as far as when you start looking for that junior class, that junior player?
Yeah, so for the juniors, we're really starting the summer before their junior year is when we're really starting to pay attention. So if there's anybody out there that's kind of wondering about that, even for junior colleges, it happens early. We try to stick to the new rule that the NCAA came out with for recruiting. We don't have to necessarily, but the big boys can't make contact until August 1st going into that junior year. And so we try to do that, and that kind of gives us a good idea of when we want to make contact and just how we can approach the whole thing and just go through that summer really identifying who we like and who really stands out for us.
And so one of the things that has changed in the last couple of years for Mississippi Junior College, which was a plus, your fall games got increased and also your spring games got increased. So for a long time, again, people that may not know, Mississippi Junior Colleges were capped at 4 play dates in the fall where the national rule said you could play 20 competitions. There was a year I coached at Mississippi Gulf Coast. You couldn't play any fall ball. They completely shut it out. You were not at Northwest yet as a player that year. I don't think it was 2010. That was when
That's
you
right.
Graduated high school, right?
12.
Okay, yeah. So you were a sophomore, but it slowly made its way back, and then a couple of years ago they made this change, and that's obviously for the better when it comes to player development, which is still what junior college is. Obviously you want to win, but there's a lot of player development that goes along with it. So just talk about how being able to play those extra competitions and those extra games can be beneficial from the player's aspect.
Yeah, I think it can be good and bad, and just like anything. The good thing is if you bring in a big roster, we're allowed 35. Man, you can almost guarantee innings. You can guarantee at bats. For us, we get 10 dates now, so we can play 20 games in the fall.
Sharply hit by Barnes. It's bobbled by the second baseman who was there on the shift, and Barnes will beat it out. And so it will be another leadoff base runner for Magnolia Heights here in the top of the fifth. Coach McMahon is going to yell over to the dugout for the courtesy runner. And this time it will be Colton Robbins who will handle the courtesy running duties. It's been Griff Hill the two other times. And that will bring up Preston Sowell, one of the future Rangers on this 2025 Chief team. So, yeah, you talk about the players, more development, more opportunity. It's the one thing about this one's hit well to left field, back at the wall, just a bit short. And Preston Sowell just missed his third home run of the year, but it's the first out of the inning. But, on the topic of development, just playing, as Shaker and I talked about it last week down in Florida, you got in a routine of just playing every day, and that can't be overstated how much that helps a baseball player, more so than, baseball is a slower game. It's not football, it's not basketball where you're on your feet, you're constantly moving. It's a game that you want to play as much as possible to just see, you can't replicate what you see in practice. I mean, in a game in practice in baseball without live scrimmages, so you might as well play somebody else. So Quincy Pratt at the plate now. So tell us what's ahead. I know you got Colin tomorrow, but looking ahead the next couple of weeks, what's on tap for the Rangers?
Yeah, for us, we're trying to be
bouncer to third. They'll get the force out at second, so there's two away for Burford.
For us, we're trying to stay focused on, really what's next. We had a rough start when the conference season started. We had a pretty tough draw at first. We had two really quality opponents, nationally ranked in the top 6, I think, and so we dropped a few games there. And so we're trying not to look too far ahead, but we have Colin tomorrow for 2, and then we have Holmes for 2, and then we go on the road to Hines for 2 more next Saturday.
So that's the next 6
Yep.
for the Rangers. Of course, as we've mentioned, they're all doubleheaders once conference starts. You mentioned the tough start there in the opening week, but again, opportunity to battle back here. And tomorrow's at home,
That's right.
if I'm not mistaken, 2 o'clock?
Yep, 2 and 5.
2 o'clock first pitch. First game will be at 9. Those of you that may have seen it, Mark Carson broke the all-time wins record, and they're going to honor him tomorrow as Pratt will be running on the pitch. The second baseman comes all the way over in shallow left center field to secure that pop-up in the third out of the inning. But Coach Carson has become the all-time wins leader at Northwest Mississippi Community College. They're going to honor him prior to game number 1, and I also saw the 1986 national runner-up team will be there as well. So we're going to head to the bottom half of the 5th. Dom, appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
When we come back after this break, Shaker Turner and I will carry you the last 2.5 innings of this one. Bottom of the 5th, Chiefs on top 2-0. Shaker Turner back in the booth here with me That was fun to get to talk to. I'm sure for you to get to talk to Johnny Ray, I heard most of it. Of course, Dom and I worked together at Northwest for a while and have been friends for a long time. So good to get those guys on. Bring a little bit of a different feel. Got to ask a lot of key questions of each of them. Cole Prosick ahead in the count 0-1. One thing Dominic mentioned, that went to inside ball one. One thing that he mentioned about, their rough start to conference is similar to what you and I have talked about, and several people have heard us talk about. Just, staying where your feet are, staying confident in your ability. And this one's skied to left. Coley does not have a good beat on it and ends up just dropping it. His turn was bad from the start and just straight whiffed on it. So it'll be a leadoff two-base era, and Bob Jones will have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. But, he just talked about, them staying in the moment, trying to recover from a rough conference start. And that really goes back to what we talked about our game with Mumford yesterday. We never looked mentally in the baseball game. And that showed, and we did some things that were very uncharacteristic.
Oh, no doubt. And, and part of it's tough conditions, but that's kind of what separates, great teams when you win. We've talked about winning ugly before, but also who can just kind of persevere on a bad day. And a little bit in Northwest credit. They did lose the first two, but it's probably to the two picked preseason top teams in the conference. You come out of the gate with the best.
Yeah, two of the top three preseason teams in the preseason poll, East Central being the other one. And I saw they split with Pearl River 2 days ago in the most JUCO of JUCO ways. They run ruled Pearl River in game one only to get run ruled in game two. So, and that has happened more than one time in Decatur. I know because I was a part of one of them. Here's a bouncer to short. Miller will have to hurry. He's able to do it. 6-3 on the putout. The runner will advance 90 feet. And I also, one year at East Central, we went up there. We played 10 innings in 3.5 hours. That was 2 games. And they sent us back on our way to Perkinston pretty quickly. We got 4 hits on the day, and as the person that was over the hitters, it was not a fun ride home from Decatur to Perkinston.
Well, we definitely have at least one thing in common, Jake. My first college game ever was a doubleheader at East Central, and run ruled in game 1, got run ruled game 2.
so
East Central has a common theme down there.
Yeah, so fastball in there for a corner strike one. So I told the guys, so at that time there was a north-south, and you didn't play, the conference was divided and came together for a state tournament. Going into my third year, we were 0-4 at Decatur. And I told the guys, as that pitch misses up, I told the guys, I said, hey, I've been a part of more wins at Alec Box Stadium. And I said, guys, if y'all don't know where that is, LSU, that's LSU's home field. I said, I've been a part of more wins there than I have in Decatur, Mississippi. So let's please try to get one today. Here's a bouncer to short. Miller throws over in time, but the run will score for the Patriots, and they have cut this lead in half. And anyways, we went on to win game 1 that day. I think it was 12-1, only to get run ruled in game 2. So it was a short-lived enjoyment.
Yeah, that was Vincent Howell. Sure got his first at bat, but RBI 6-3 right there to cut the lead to 1 for the Patriots. And this is the DH. And forgive me if anybody family here watching at home. I think it's Elijah DeGante, and he smokes a ball to left field.
And that will get down and get him to at least second. So it's a 2-out double, and Drumheller does keep the ball on him. He didn't even – I don't think he ever knew it. He was celebrating so much. So Drumheller does the right thing, keeps it on him. But nonetheless, the tying run now stands at second base, and Chris McMahon is going to join Cole Prosick on the mound. So we'll step aside as this mound visit takes place. The Patriots threatening to tie this one up here in the 5th. All right, so Mount Visit over. Prosick will remain in the ball game. Looks like Bob Jones has gone to the bench once again. Is it for the runner at second? I was actually watching Oklahoma play to run against Mississippi State, so I'm not sure where the substitution is coming from. I guess we'll see when the hitter comes to the box.
Yeah, that's going to be for the hitter, I believe. No, that's still Mick. No, that's number 19. So the catcher, Mick Tyrell, will be hit for here. Being the catcher and their starters already out, I assume he'll re-enter.
Drake Barbie. Drake Barbie is a senior outfielder, 5'10", swings it from the right side, weighs $166. According to the roster that we have, it's pretty exact weight there. Or somebody just had a typo, just like I did just a minute ago, trying to put the count into our scoreboard.
Well, Jake, while we've been talking, this game's gotten close, huh?
Yeah, that's probably what people watching would rather us talk about what's happening on the field than meaningless junior college games from the early 2000s, early 90s. So,
hey, you know what? They can do their own broadcast shows. I'm just kidding.
So the count's 1-1. Cole Prosick needs to find the third out here and minimize this damage. Misses outside. I've got 2-1. Scoreboard's got 1-2. And the home plate umpire's not going to let us know who's right and who's wrong. Maybe this pitch will. He calls it a ball. It is 2-2. So the scoreboard here in the park was correct. I was not. So the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This one's hit well to left center. Or actually, it's not. Sorry. Coley comes on, and there's a need to put a 10 on that thing out in left field as it almost plated the second run of the baseball game for Bob Jones. But instead, the Chiefs will take a 2-1 lead to the 6th. Top of the 6th, Leland Weldon has the honor to lead us off here. Swing, says he got a piece of it, strike 1. Again, love the view, but don't get the same ability to hear some things from the perch. But again, it's a big league view. This one's sky to center. Center fielder comes on and puts a glove on it for the first out.
We'll say while you were talking to Coach Carlini, I walked down there. And it's a pretty good little baseball atmosphere going on with the ambient noise and the stuff from the dugout. And it's a little atmosphere going. It's not a huge crowd, but what we do have is involved.
Well, it's a short trip for us, and Bob Jones is here I don't know if they're on spring break or if they just came over for a couple of days like we did when we went out to Texas. But again, you looked at it, it's 186 miles from here. Not a terrible drive for their fans and parents that have made it.
Yeah, with 72 out of Huntsville coming this way, and now with 69.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Capper off the end of the bat to the shortstop. Throws a little low, but the first baseman is able to remain on the bag and catch it clean. So 2 up, 2 down. Well, if you don't believe that basketball might be taking away some of our viewers, Facebook gives us a live number of how many people have tuned in. Yesterday we were anywhere between 500 and 700 just on Facebook, down to about 320 tonight. So Friday night and the basketball tournament, people just checking in casually on this one. Jack Price out hitting his last time up. Hits this one weakly to second. He'll field it and throw over in time. And it's, unfortunately for the Chiefs, it's a quick top of the 6th. Bob Jones with all the momentum and coming to bat here in their half of the 6th frame. We'll be right back. All right, bottom of the 6th. Bob Jones trailing 2-1 to your Magnolia Heights Chiefs. And the Patriot order will start with the number 1 hitter. And he turns and burns on that one. 86 on the gun, and it left about 106, but it's foul. And Prosick ahead in the count, no balls and a strike. Bouncer to Sowell, who is able to glove it and step on first base. And then he throws it low to Trey, and again, struggling just with the old best ball right now. But the most important piece of that puzzle was the out.
When he stayed there and went to backhand it, I thought Coach McMahon may strangle him if this ball gets by.
Preston has started now 4 games at first. This one being the 4th.
Cole Spanier fouls that one off.
Yeah, I should have learned from Asher last week. If you just hit the space bar, Wynn's told me for 2 years now, it'll clear the count. And I always forget. So, as I had 4 strikes on our man here because I wasn't, just wasn't really paying attention.
Well, again, I know I've said it before, but as this ground ball to Trey.
Oh, and then he dropped it again. There's going to be a conversation. So the throw was low and not fielded cleanly, and he called him out twice, and then he realized that he messed up because Sowell dropped the ball. Bob Jones' coach was about to come out to argue, and the umpire was just like, stay over there. I know I've messed this one up. So he changes his call to safe, which unfortunately for Magnolia Heights was the correct call. And the defense is letting the Chiefs down tonight, as that is the 3rd error of the evening.
I didn't catch a number, but being the time run, they've put in a pinch runner for Spanier. 1 out, leads from first.
A spiked fastball. Barnes will have a chance at second. Throwdown's in plenty of time. And he's retired. Didn't get a great jump on the dirt ball. And the Liberty signee guns down his 8th, I believe I saw earlier. I believe he's thrown out 7. That would be the 8th runner of the year that Barnes has thrown out. And that's the second out of the inning.
That's 2 days in a row with a big ball in the dirt.
The one yesterday was as impressive as anything you'll see. And this one's hit well to right, but Price doesn't even have to move, and that'll do it for the 6th. So the Chiefs will take a 1-run lead to the final frame of this one. All right, top of the 7th, Trey Miller leading it off. Top of the Chief order, need to find some insurance. Swings through a changeup. Here comes the 0-1. That was a fastball. So, again, we can't really see it from here, and I'm not always watching the camera view. Coach Carlini said it's a cutter that he's throwing in that upper 70s, low 80s.
That's a pretty good cutter.
Yeah, he said he said that's what it looks like from field level. Said it's a little bit of a cutter. I said, okay. I said, well, you are a pitching coach, and we will take your word for it.
If it comes between him and me knowing, I'm going to go with him.
So, there you go. Trey Miller lines this one to right, and it'll get down. And leadoff base runner is aboard for Magnolia Heights.
Hey, but in our defense, we got a bad angle.
We're too high. We're too high.
Too high. So I did get in my Major League quote. I try to get at least one in a broadcast.
So
gonna bring up Cole Prosek after Trey's single.
So confused at where my tweet went. Where we at?
Ooh. We'll blame that one on the angle too, because that didn't look real close to a strike.
But it was called one.
Definitely called one. So looking to add at least one insurance run here before the bottom of the 7th. Again, Chiefs lead the Patriots 2-1. Trey Miller leads off the inning with a single, brings up Cole Prosek. Just missed one in his last at bat.
And this one's going to slice away from the center fielder and should get over his head. And it does. He dives but is unable to come up with it. Miller didn't get the best jump because it was a fly ball. And Prosek has a double. And I'm not sure if the center fielder collided with the wall when he dove or if he just landed awkwardly, but he is still down in left center field, and it's a big big double for the Chiefs with nobody out. And the coach for Bob Jones is going to go have a conversation with his center fielder. It was a great effort.
For a second, I thought he got there and caught it. That was going to be a heck of a play.
I thought and maybe even said it was a no-doubter, but it ended up being a bang-bang play out there.
Again, that's Dylan Atkins in center field for the Patriots. And, again, if I understood correctly what they told me before the game, he's the top uncommitted senior in Alabama. And I believe it.
He has shown well tonight. And he'll stay in this baseball game. The coach does have his lineup card with him. They have had a young man throwing in the bullpen. And I think he just told him from center field that when I get to the mound, you're coming in. As you can see there, he's still a long way out. I can't see the number. There's a pole in my way.
I can't see the number because I can't see the number. That's way too far for me. And speaking of the ground he just covered, and we talk about our home park, down in Senatobia and all being a pretty good sized park. There's been some barrels hit tonight that are just fly ball out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ground to cover out there. He went a long way to get to that ball. So either way, that's going to do it for Jack Shaw, Wallace Dothan commit.
And we will tell you about the new Patriot pitcher when we come back. The Chiefs have 2 on and nobody out, and Ethan Barnes getting ready to come to the plate. Reese Brazil, the new pitcher for the Patriots of Bob Jones. He is a right-hander. He stands 6'5", 185. He is a junior. The first Chief he will face is Ethan Barnes. And they're going to intentionally walk Barnes to set up the double play with nobody out. Smart baseball there, which you'd expect nothing less from a state championship program. Robbins thought he was going to run for Barnes, but Coach McMinn is going to let Barnes run for himself. He has put Hill at second for Prosick. That happened during the pitching change. So Preston Sowell with the opportunity to purchase that much-needed insurance here in the top of the 7th. Getting his first look at Brazil. 84 on that fastball, misses outside.
Real quick, the line on Shaw tonight was 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Again, it's handed off to Brazil. Trying to get out of this fire right here. The Chiefs have created.
The runners at second and third are his responsibility. Swing and a miss. Strike one. He pitched really well, and just, his defense let him down a couple times and let 2 runs score. Same for the Chiefs. Defense has let Cole down and it's let a run score. So we'll see what happens here in the 7th. Sowell misses that one, strike 2. Bob Jones is electing to play the entire infield in. I would assume that when Quincy comes up, if there is one out and the bases are still loaded, they'll go back in the middle and play for the double play. Sowell down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hits a bouncer to short. Don't run into the tag. Nice job. You don't have to be a tag at the plate. It's a force out. It's a force out, and that's going to get the coach out of the dugout.
So it looked to me he was in front of the plate. I think the catcher may have been confused on, having a tag or not, but I don't think he was on the plate. Those y'all at home may have seen it different, but either way, 3-1.
3-1 now. As the run score on the fielder's choice, and Quincy Pratt will hit with them loaded and nobody out. If he stepped off the plate, it was when he went to tag. When he went to tag before he had the ball.
Yeah.
I will say that. Just again, we're so high up, couldn't have a great view. Pratt hits it sharply back up the middle. It'll plate 1, and Coach McMahon will not roll the dice. But again, poor base running. And now there's an out of some kind at third. I'm not sure which runner. So now we got time. Yep, because the backside runner is the one that's safe. No, he's actually going to call Sowell out. That's not how that's supposed to be done.
No, he was the backside guy.
No, right. But once Barnes vacates the bag, he's technically the one.
No, he's still his. It's, if I understand correctly, the lead runner is his bag until he's at. It's his bag.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm arguing with an umpire, so that's that's probably not right of me.
And also maybe he was saying he tagged him before.
Yeah, so they were definitely. Barnes beats it back. He's safe because he just beats it back, so he's safe. And then when he tagged Preston with them both on there, that got him. It was definitely back to Barnes' bag at that point.
All right, so there you go. So did just get a text message. Rewound it. His foot was not on the plate when he caught the ball. So there you go. Could probably, if I gave my phone number out to some people from Madison, Alabama, they might text and say right the opposite, but we'll just not we'll not do that.
You want me to go ahead and give it out?
I'd rather you not. Rather you not. Would like to try to sleep tonight. 2-0 misses high, and it's 3-0, and Braden Burford is ahead in the count. It is 2-0. Okay, that's what I thought. Me and the scoreboard are now tied 1-1. There you go.
Yeah. Forget the rule. My man Sal, I was watching him running, he head down.
He head down like he saw where the throw was going, and he just took off. Never even thought for a split second that Chris might be holding up Ethan at third, which with nobody out is it's the decision. Like just clean single, keep the merry-go-round going. Pitch is called a strike, 2-1. Runner going. Burford swings through. Count is now 2-2.
Going to bring him back in. Full count here on Burford. Infield's going to be in. Try to hold him at third. We did get our insurance run.
Yep, need a couple more if you can find a way to scratch them here. Payoff pitch. Outside. Ball 3. And Burford asked for time after the long delay. So here comes the payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So the Chiefs.
It's going to bring up Leland Weldon, 2 down, run to second, third. 2 out hit. Pretty big right here.
Stuart Scott once said 2 out hits get you to heaven.
Especially RBIs.
Weldon swings through it. Strike 1. And Coach McMahon asked for time. To have a conversation with Leland.
What do you think he tells him right here? Right there.
Gonna paraphrase, but probably they've pitched you away all night. Will you please stay on it and hit something hard to the right side? Very simplistic, but I think that's what we went with. Here's the 0-1. It gets around it and fouls it off over in the third base dugout.
So that was going to lead to my second question of that would be my guess that he would say, and do we think Patriots coach may know that, and now we're going to go hard in on him there. Again, just a little chess match between coaches. I think we have 2 good ones here battling it out tonight.
No question. Winner of this one gets IMG tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And what would be the championship version of this bracket. Here's the 0-2. Inside.
The umpire may have given up on that one a little early. Buzz the ball.
Counts now 1-2. They go back away, and Weldon lays off 2-2. So
Good pitch, good take.
This version of IMG is called their black roster. They won this event last year or the year before. I can't remember when it changed.
Do you have any idea how the teams are ranked?
I don't. We had that conversation last week, but from what Coach Melendez told me that he could find, a lot of the same guys are on this roster that were there last week, so maybe a blend, of the two.
Yep.
Yeah, so ING Black won it last year. Father McGivney, who the Chiefs beat yesterday, won it when it changed to the bracket format back in 2023. So here's the 2-2. It's in the dirt, and Weldon's worked the full count. These two rosters are when you look at college commitments, very similar. Couple of Power 5 guys. Here's the 3-2, and this one's hit high to right. Second baseman, right fielder converging, and no one is able to get there. I think it actually hit on top of the fence.
It hit something. It's either top or in the bullpen came back, but off the top was probably more probable. But you phrase probably more probable.
It is tonight. But you just look at it, they've got an Alabama guy, several JUCO guys. So, you got two rosters that are very similar as far as collegiate prospects. Obviously, there's quite a difference in school size, with Bob Jones being a 7A public school and Magnolia Heights being a private school. But good baseball being played right now.
That's right. There's 2 outs. Quincy at second base gets a good lead. Aggressive secondary right here. Got to score any hit.
Weldon hits this one well to left, but it's going to go well foul.
This off topic, but Coach Wynn Scott just sent an update that George Foreman passed away today.
Wow. He also sent me Spacebar. Reminded me that's how a clear count, even though I'd already given him credit for it. Weldon putting together a good AB here. He fell down 1-2, but has found a way to take a couple of pitches and foul a few off.
You said good baseball a while ago, and talk about 2 good coaches, and for sure have a good one-on-one battle going right here.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Weldon the loser of that battle. But the Chiefs are 3 outs away from advancing here in the Buster Kelso USA Classic. We'll see if they run. Well, can already tell you they're going to run Cole Prosick back out to the mound to try to close this one down. 4-1 your new score. Chiefs need 3 outs to advance. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 7th, Magnolia Heights leading Bob Jones 4-1. Chiefs purchased a little insurance there in the 7th. And Cole Prosick has come back out to try to close this one down. I believe you said he's at 90.
No, Cole is at 74.
Cole's at 74 pitches.
If my
Swing and a miss, strike 1.
Scorekeeping is correct. This is Dylan Atkins, the center fielder, hit the wall a while ago. Again, top uncommitted, 25 in Alabama. I think he tried to tie it right there with one swing.
Cole still at 86 on the gun, 1-1. Chris and I were talking about it the other day. Cole will never pitch at Ole Miss, but Cole could pitch at Ole Miss if he gets there and doesn't get drafted and take it. He's a competitor, number one. He commands his fastball, which Mike Bianco loves, and then he has wipeout secondary stuff. This was hit sharply to second past the diving Drumheller, and the leadoff man is aboard. 88 on that fastball.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of programs that would take a 88, 91 guy that can throw multiple pitches for strikes.
So with one on and nobody out, Bob Jones doing exactly what they need to do to stay alive in this one. Fastball is up, 1-0. This one's popped up, but the backstop much shorter than it once was. It gets out of play. 1-1. That's one of the things they did when they rebuilt the field. They didn't touch the outfield wall, I don't think. I think they brought in a little bit, but they shortened the backstop as well. That one misses up. It used to be its own small field back behind home plate. 2-1, the count. See if you can get one of those double play balls here. It's in the dirt, 3-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No defensive changes for the Chiefs here in the 7th. Here's the 3-2. Strike 3 called, went with a fastball. He takes it looking for the first out.
That's going to bring up the left fielder, Robert Chapman, Bevel State commit.
Good-looking ball player. Really good speed, thick lower half. Showed some bat speed earlier.
I don't know if he does, but he looks like he also might tote that rock on Friday nights.
Interesting. I mean, he does, but it'd be an interesting question, something to look up. Fastball in there, 0-1.
I personally would not want to tackle him.
Fouls it straight back, 0-2.
I don't know if you noticed that last strikeout got our man Mick Scarborough pumped up.
Yes. Yes, I did see Mick's move behind the plate now, way to celebrate every strike. They're going to try to test Barnes. This one's going to get a little too far away, and the runner will advance to second. You run on Ethan Barnes, you're doing it at your own risk. Oh, there is one change defensively. Griff Hill is in left field. So Hill replacing Coley. Fouled straight back.
And I lost count somewhere along the way, but that's going to be right at 90, I think, for Cole. So go ahead and finish up this inning. Then our guess is Connor Edge tomorrow in the championship.
Yeah, Connor should get the start tomorrow. This one's fouled off over the right side. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And again, not to get ahead of ourselves. I guess that thread of conversation was more towards Cole's, how long he goes tonight.
1-2 in the dirt, even up at 2-2. All right, so we've locked in here. I'm going to assume that Mississippi State won because the game is over. So they either got beat by a walk-off or they won 2-1. So let's go with the positive. It's been a rough day to be a Bulldog. Here's the 1-2. Checks his swing. He's not going to get the answer you want down there, Ethan. So the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Strike 3 on the outside corner for the second out of the inning.
Umpire had a little dance move on that call, it looked like.
Well, the Chiefs 1 out away from advancing.
That's going to bring up third baseman Vincent Howell. Strike out in a ground out to short. That was the lone RBI for the Patriots tonight.
So State did win 2-1. All right. Thanks, Miss Howell. Appreciate it. Pitch misses low. She's also the one that texted and said that the catcher's foot was not on the plate when he caught the ball. And the catcher must have known that. That's why he went to tagging. This one's hit well to right center field. Jack Price on his horse. On his horse. He will get there. And the Chiefs have defeated Bob Jones by a score of 4-1 and will play IMG Black tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock in the championship of the 2025 Buster Kelso USA Classic. We'll be back with you about 12:50 tomorrow, as it'll be the Chiefs and the Ascenders for the second time in 7 days.